So, if you clicked on this video, you are thinking, so, how is Mr. Paul the next Donald? And I'm going to explain it to you. So, as you know, Donald Trump is our current president, and Jake Paul is the most infamous and most hated YouTube celebrity. And a lot of things they have in common. One, they never take responsibility for their actions, and also, they never are in the wrong. You know, they always like, I'm always the good guy. I never do anything bad. And I will cite some examples. With Mr. Paul, we'll call him. He has never taken responsibility for anything bad that's happened in his life. Going back to like 2017 when he started Team 10 and all of the members left in 2018 when he was going to go on tour. Whenever a member left, he never took responsibility in terms of that he might have treated them not very good, or also his team and how they were doing things was not the best way to go about handling a team of 20-year-olds. He needs to take responsibility for it failing as much as the investors and the people that were putting money into this thing. He always says, oh, they left because it's ego and they thought they were better. But I can tell you, like, Tessa was clearly being bullied by him. And the fact that she left didn't surprise anybody. And she was so cordial with her leaving and everything. And I think that ultimately I think, has as much to do with why that team didn't work as much as the other people did. When it comes to the Alyssa Violet situation, they both were treated each other very poorly, but I think that he didn't take responsibility for that. And when it came to that leaked clip on TMZ of him saying the N-word, he never apologized, he never acknowledged it, and he clearly hasn't learned because he called one of his fans, like, oh, you're gonna blow something up because they were, like, Muslim or something, and old tweets have surfaced, and they've been around for years. It hasn't blown up, and it should, of Jake saying the N-word in these tweets and saying very insensitive things about different cultures and so forth and different ethnicities. And this year is what I want to focus on particularly because he actually was pretty controversy-free up until 2020. So he won against Gibb, and that was terrible. And then he launched the Financial Freedom Movement. And I know that this is a scam, and so was Edfluence, which was similar to Financial Freedom Movement, which just disappeared. Is that Jake was promoting this heavily. It was on major news articles and stuff, and then he stopped promoting it in like March. In March or something, and he never posted about it, never acknowledged it ever again. He said there'd be weekly FaceTime calls, never happened. That was all a scam for money. Literally, I watched the videos and I was like, this is the most basic information, and the fact that he was making people pay almost $30 was, I mean, listen, his intention might have been noble, but at the end of the day, Jake Paul is not about creativity and for the greater good. It's all about money for him. It's always about money and clout and staying as in touch with the cultural sphere as, you know, Mr. Beast or Nico Johnson or whatever. I don't even know what I'm saying. Roman Atwood, but I don't think he's like that big anymore. Now, having said that, you know, he might say his own thing, but ultimately, when it's so suspicious. And same thing with Edfluence. Like, you had to pay this absurd amount of money to get the most basic of social media tips that you could literally look up on the Google, and it was a scam. It was a scam. And he doesn't talk about it, he doesn't promote it, he doesn't do anything with it. The website is still up, but don't be surprised when next year comes around and you don't see it anywhere. It's because it's a scam for money. People saw that, and that was the end of it. And even when Logan asked about it on the podcast, you could tell that he was kind of, you know, trying to back up what he was doing, but that was clearly for money. And then he did the anxiety tweet, and I kind of don't know why people got that upset about that, but I think it was kind of an uneducated comment. And he tried to fight a former One Direction member, and that's just him thinking that he's, the best. And on a podcast in February or March, I remember Mike Malak saying that Jake Paul is out of control. He came to a dinner party, drunk, and had his shirt out, and become better human beings, and ultimately get more empathy is through failure and through understanding, hey, I'm not the best. I'm not the king all the time. People who have that mentality, the only way they don't learn by winning, they learn by losing. You look at Logan Paul, and look at how much he's evolved. People like him now, and it's because he's been humbled so many times. His ego has been put in check so many times. He's lost so many people and brands and movies, and has been through so much, and through that he's become a better human being. Jake has had many controversies on YouTube, but he's always tried to defend himself. He's never said... Whenever you ever seen a video or heard Jake Paul admit to making a mistake, never, because he doesn't want to admit that. Then in May, there was the looting situation, and basically he never looted, but he was just there and he shouldn't have been. But it's interesting because Greg Paul, Logan Paul, and Jake Paul told 3 different accounts as to why Jake was there, which just says that he is lying. So clearly he is lying. We all know he went there for clickbait and for views, because his channel is dying. He gets 1 million, 2 million views, and he needed this boost. It's kind of what happened with Japan. And what's interesting is that they never put out the audio of the vlog. And what we did here, they were fooling around, they were laughing. Clearly, they were taking advantage of the situation for clout. And we even saw one of his cameramen say to someone who was looting, "Give me that cologne, give me that cologne." So I want to make it perfectly clear. Jake Paul was not looting, but he was there in the mall when he wasn't supposed to. So he was there illegally, and there's nothing that anyone can change about that. And he clearly wasn't there for noble reasons. He wasn't there to document. He was there to make fun of and take the situation very unseriously. And it's just it's very disgusting that this white privilege dude will take advantage of any situation and not care. And I mean, he's also just very uneducated about literally everything. He wouldn't be able to do a podcast. You know what I mean? He's just not knowledgeable about anything besides the little bubble that he puts himself in. And I know this is harsh, but it's the truth, and this is why people don't like him. And Jake tried to make an excuse. He even stole a fundraiser for his video, and that video got deleted. And he filmed fresh out of London, and had a lot of people in that music video. And while people misreported it as a party in a global pandemic in an area that's very hard to hit, you really think it was a good idea to have that many people dancing and in the same spot? No. And his response to the mayor, talking down to him, and when he was asked, he's like, well, I'm not going to start partying just because our leaders are failing us. It's that terrible response. And, it's just own up to your mistakes at the end of the day, Jake. It's you made a mistake, own up to it. That's called being an adult. You know what I mean? He is not an adult. He is a whiny man-child that has grown up in a bubble for years and years and years, and he just needs to get slapped, and he needs to get humbled and become a better person. Because I see people saying, I love this new mature Jake Paul, but he has not matured or evolved at all in the past. Jake Paul is the only person that doesn't evolve, but only, goes backwards in terms of ages. He's now, he's a 15-year-old mind in a 20-year-old body. And, the FBI raided his house. We still don't know why there were all those guns. He fired Azadi, and if you don't know, Drama Alert did something with his former manager, talking about how Azadi was assaulting women, and there was some very serious allegations there. I believe them, even though they stopped reporting on it. Jake just only kept him, Azadi, with him because he made him brand deals and money, and that makes so much sense with who Jake Paul is. And it's disgusting that Jake allowed this man to beat up people, to sexually assault women, and to do these terrible things, to be a terrible human being. all for money. You know what I mean? At the end, now he just put out 23, and the song was decent. But and then there was a whole controversy of whether he did in fact put in the effort to Fresh Out of London, and it was proven that he did in fact write the song, but with another guy. It's not like he did put in the effort, but it wasn't just him. And I just think that it's bad that the song got all this great reception. He wants to take all of the credit when other people helped him write the song. It wasn't just him. He said that website they told people to go to didn't have a song in it, and the source for Spotify was stop trying to put this out, but I think that might be his record label. But it just seemed very sketchy, and clearly he did not write the song, nor did he his other song. He did write the songs. He just didn't do it alone. He did it with another person. And I'll actually leave the clip there of him on Impulsive and him basically admitting that he did in fact not write it alone. He did, he was a writer, but he wasn't the sole writer. And I don't, just because you don't take other people's credit for stuff that they worked hard on. Anyways, and he kind of, I understand that he thinks that everyone's out against him, and on one of the things like scientists say that climate change is going up by 10%, everyone blames Jake Paul. And it's like, listen, guy, people are mad at you and people don't like you, and you're getting into trouble because of decisions you made. Nobody told you to go to that mall and stay there. People have a absolute place to criticize you for going there and for setting a bad example. People have a complete place to criticize you for scamming your young fans into a site that has no value at all. And you shouldn't be partying in a pandemic or throwing a party for a music video. Own up to your mistakes. Literally, everything that has happened this year is because of you. Everything. The financial freedom movement was criticized because it was a scam. And maybe if you didn't make your fans pay $20 and you actually had good stuff on it, maybe people wouldn't be criticizing you for that. No one told you to put out that Zayn Malik tweet. No one told you to go get drunk and waste your life away with alcohol because that's all you're going to ever be good at. Nobody told you to go to the mall. Nobody told you to record and be goofing off with your friends and taking advantage of a situation. And when you're a well-known public figure that has a very young and impressionable audience, of course people are going to criticize you for that. And especially in a moment and in a situation that's super sensitive and should not be taken advantage of by white boys. Nobody told you to do that music video, and you certainly should have known better than to have all those people come to your house. So of course you're gonna get criticism for that. Why do you have guns all over in your house? Why do you have a manager that's a bad influence and you're only using him because of money? Oh wait, that's because all you care about is making money and staying relevant. You know what I mean? That's why he's not doing YouTube, because he's not getting views off of it. He genuinely does, I think, have a passion for boxing and music, but at the end of the day, he's only using this because it's keeping him relevant. It's keeping his clout up. It's keeping him in the mainstream and constantly in the news. He's an attention seeker. That's all he is. And this boxing thing is all because it's a great avenue. Once he's not making money off of that, and once it's not successful, he's gonna leave boxing and go to the next thing, because it doesn't nothing matters to him except money and clout. That is all that Jake Paul cares about. He doesn't care about creativity. He doesn't care about his fans. He doesn't care about community. He doesn't care about being a good person. All he cares about is making money and staying relevant. And if he is not either of those two things, then what's the point of doing any of this? I mean, and why he's the next Donald Trump and why we should be afraid of him is because Donald Trump has had various failed businesses like Jake. Donald has been known to date multiple women and get into weird things with them. Same thing with Jake. Donald's gone sued earlier in his life. Same thing with Jake. None of them owe up to the responsibilities. They're making the media the enemy. You can already see that Jake is trying to antagonize the media and saying how he only likes facts and lying and creating a false narrative, which is exactly what Donald Trump is doing. And he's a very dangerous person, and we cannot, under any circumstances, let Jake Paul become any more successful than he is. And that's why it's essential that he lose in a very big way to KSI. And we love him to lose to Nate, but that's not going to happen. But yes, he is the next Donald Trump, and he could be president. And he is using the same kind of narrative of antagonizing the media, him being the only person lying and not taking accountability for anything that he does. And that is truly something that scares me. And I do believe that this is someone that needs to be stopped. Do not support him. Fear him and let him learn, and then we'll like him, and then we'll support him. But right now, we need to pray and hope that Jake Paul fails in every possible way so that he can learn from those failures and then become a good actual person and evolve, and then we'll support his success. I did the same thing with Logan. I didn't want him to win. I want him to fail in everything that he did. And I'm glad, because I like him now, and he's a good person, and he's evolved and changed. And yeah, so for anyone who thinks that the media is out to get Jake, this is literally all Jake Paul's fault. And I'm done with this video. Like, subscribe, and comment. And most importantly, unsub from KSI. I'll cut this part. Unsub from Mr. Paul. And subscribe to me. You thought I was going to say KSI. You should do that, but me too.